if you're on a portrait, by all means, you're going to be fine. In fact, everything that I cut today is on letter size paper, which works beautifully with the portrait. I'm going to show you how to cut today and how to set up your files in the Silhouette software, which is free. If you've never downloaded it, it's amazing, especially for free software. So once it's downloaded and you've gotten into it and you've opened up a file like the Spring Floral House, which I'm not sure if it's a free download. I made it available. This is one of my designs, so it's totally free right now on the Michaels site. And if you're watching this later, it's available in my Silhouette store, the Karina Gardner Silhouette store, and you can download it there. But there are so many good designs out there by so many good designers, so you should be just fine with that, okay? All right, I think we're gonna get started here. So what should we start with? Let's start with opening the file. Does that sound good? So I'm going to share my screen with you guys and let's get started here. All right. Can they see my screen yet? Yeah. Okay, so what you're seeing right here is what your file will look like when you open it up, okay? It looks crazy. There are a lot of pieces, and I'm going to zoom out right now because the best way to deal with this is to zoom out and see all the pieces. Now, one of the things you'll notice is that everything is layered. Now, I've done this on purpose so that you can come back to the original file and take a look at it and make sure that you're in good shape. When you're going to cut this file, you can see everything's color-coded, just the way I've got it cut out, color-coded. Now, of course, you can change the colors. In fact, I saw a couple of different people made this house on Instagram, and instead of doing a white house, they did like a cute pink house, and I think I saw a craft house. I love that. It's so beautiful. So you need to make it as unique as you are. So when we go to cut, we want everything on the mat, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select as much as I need to move everything off of the mat. So you see right there, I just grabbed everything. So this mat is totally empty now. So this is my cutting space. I'm going to just move over this page setup just to make sure you're good on this. Now, if you don't have this menu up, all you have to do is go up to, I think, let's see, I think it's view. Registration marks. That's usually actually what I pull up, is this one right here, registration marks, or show design page settings. And so, it gave me another one. Look at that, you guys. Usually it doesn't give me the second one, but it's the page setup right here. Okay, so you can see that I am currently set up with it's set up to a Cameo Pro Plus. That was the last machine I used it on. So I'm going to switch it to just the Cameo because that's what I have today. And then I do have a cutting mat that's 12 by 12. So I'm going to leave that. I'm going to change my media size to letter, okay? And you can see how it's changed right here on my board. So if the first thing I want to cut is just maybe all my white pieces, you know, whatever color you're actually doing them, you would just pull this over to your board, go to send, and you can see it then focuses in on the actual page where you're going to cut. And then I'm going to come down here. Can you guys see this? You can see it says unavailable. This is because I plugged in this machine for the very first time. So I'm going to click on this little icon right down here at the bottom. I'm going to like move my mouse around it so you can see it. I'm going to click that, and then I'm going to look for the available one. So because I've got it plugged into my machine, it's going to find it. I have a lot of machines connected here because I have a lot of machines at home. So I'm looking for the one that says available. So this one says available. I'm going to click on it. As soon as I do, you're going to notice that these settings should clean up for me. Let's see. Oh, it wants to do a firmware update. Apparently, I'm going to do a firmware update. So we'll see if that happens real quick. Okay, it's updating the firmware. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second and show you guys the mat. Let's see. All right. Okay, I've stopped sharing while it's doing that update, and instead I'm going to talk to you guys about the mat. Okay, so here's my mat. If you have been using a Silhouette machine for a while, you'll know that these mats come very, very sticky. You can see It's updating. And we should be good. Okay, so it comes very, very sticky, and it will you can use it for several times. Once it's not sticky anymore, it doesn't mean you can't use it anymore. I actually use tape to just tape it on. Just don't do intricate cuts like we're gonna do today on it. Okay, so all you're gonna do is, let's see. Well, you can use either side. I was looking for the arrow. So here's my arrow, and I'm going to place it up here in the top corner, just like that. Okay, super easy, right? So when we go to put it on the machine, you're going to line up the edge of this mat with the edge of these arrows. So I'm going to put it right there and put it firmly under these pieces. Now, one of the things to note, especially if you're using a different machine, because I make this mistake all the time, if this piece over here isn't in the correct place, you can flip, I don't know if you guys can see this. Can you see it? Okay, you can flip this piece up right here, and you can actually move this piece to make sure it fits your mat correctly, okay? So you want to make sure that it's, for the Cameo, I'm using a 12-inch mat, so I want to make sure it's the full length. If you're on a plus, but you're using a 12-inch mat, then you need to move this so that it fits 12 inches, not 14 inches, okay? So once I lay that in, just like that, then I'm going to push this arrow right here that's like the up arrow, and it should bring it right in. And that's it, you guys. So easy, okay? All right, let's see if we can get back to our screen so that we can actually cut something. We're gonna cut something. So let's go ahead and share screen again. We're doing just a cut of this because it's so simple. But you can see that it did the update. You guys, we just in real time updated my computer for this machine. Like, that's how easy it is. I personally, when I'm using, this is Michael's has these wonderful cardstocks. They have a 65-pound and they have a 110-pound. I prefer for the machine the 65-pound. And that's because I like everything to cut in a single pass, if that makes sense. So I like to run it only one time. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to move my, my little blade all the way to the end and make it go to the 10, okay? So I'm gonna do a 10 cut, and if you see over here, I have it as a single pass, so just a one pass, okay? And then the force is set at 32. Just go ahead and move that up all the way to 33. And then this particular cut is an easy cut. You'll notice there are dash lines, so there's score lines right here. And these are really easy to cut. So we can move our speed up a little bit. I'm gonna move it up to a 7. You should be fine. If you're nervous or you have an intricate cut, push that all the way down to a 3 or a 2 and you'll be safer, okay? All right. Here we go. We're just going to go ahead and send it. And then should we take it off screen sharing so you guys can see what's going on here? So this is going to be a really fast cut. And it's a little bit loud for me to talk, but you're going to see how fast this cut really is. Okay, to pull it off, once it goes all the way, you're just going to hit this little arrow right there, and I'll pop it out for you. Super easy. Okay, now if you have intricate cuts, I really recommend, Silhouette has this great little hook piece right here. I think it's the best. I use it for all my intricate cuts. This is not an intricate cut, it's super easy, so I just will pop out the piece like that. So great. And you'll notice that at least all of my designs, and I think most of the designers in the Silhouette store, have these great score lines. So they're just dash lines, but they make it super easy, okay, to fold all of your pieces. I'm just folding that so you can see. So that's the side of the house done in pink. I'm gonna share my screen with you again though, because before we actually start making this project, I wanna show you how to put together a project in such a way so that you're cutting goes very, very quickly. I think one of the issues that you're gonna have is you have easy cuts like this, right? There are some big easy cuts, but then if you kind of take a peek at what I've got going on down here, you can cut a lot of the little flowers all in a single letter page. One of these pages will cut all of your flowers at one go. And so that makes it really nice if you can just lay the whole thing out. So I'm gonna show you how to lay it out, and you will be a pro at this. All right, here we go. Okay, so we're done with this cut. We're gonna go over to design, okay? So this is our main page again. And what we're gonna do is just move off this white piece. And I will admit, if I'm just playing with files, if I'm not saving this file, I'll delete pieces as I go just so I remember what I've cut. Either that or I'll stack them all in the corner over here. I'll be like, oh, I cut that one, so I'm done with that. Okay, let me just show you. So say we're gonna do a pink piece of paper. If you come in close, I'm gonna use my zoom, oh, I did my zoom out. Zoom in, zoom in. You'll notice that there's actually 2 flowers stacked here. So you need to make sure and ungroup them. So go ahead and select them the way that I have done and do an object, ungroup, and you'll see that now if I grab the top piece, I can pull it across and I have my 2 cuts. One of the mistakes I've made in the past, if I'm not paying attention, I forget to ungroup them, and then I have all these weird funky cuts. That's not useful. So what I'll do is I'll pull out over every single piece that's pink, maybe even if I were doing the same pink here for all the windows, and you're just gonna throw them over onto this page. You can see how I'm doing this. And just make sure and ungroup them as I go. So I'm gonna do this for every single one of my pink pieces. Maybe I'll do the butterfly also in the same pink. I like this because you really do have a lot of color choices here because you don't have to do all of these in pink or the same color of pink. You could do 6 colors of pink. But in terms of ease, these appear to be grouped. Do an object ungroup. For the ease of the project, you're gonna love simply being able to put as many of these pieces on a single cut because then your machine is doing all the work. Okay, I'm close to finding all the pink ones. So you're gonna go ahead and ungroup every single thing, lay it all out, and then you're just gonna push send. And you can see I haven't, this is the nice thing. Once you get to the send page, it's gonna show me I haven't ungrouped these things. So I wouldn't cut it like this, but I wanted you to get the idea. It doesn't matter how they're laid out. They can be funky. They don't have to be perfectly aligned. The point is they're just laying right there on your sheet and ready to cut, okay? All right. Okay, so we've gotten past that part, and that is, I would say, I would call it the not fun part. It's the part that you have to do to get to the really fun part, which to me is assembling the entire thing, okay? So you should have seen all these pieces. So we have the 2 white side pieces, right? This is, I believe, I was gonna say it's the roof, but I don't think it is actually. This is definitely the bottom piece, okay? We'll start here and I'll work my way around. And hopefully I cut everything, and if I didn't, I'll just cut it right here in front of you guys, okay? So this is the bottom piece. I do this to a lot of my village pieces and my house pieces. I like to add a circle at the bottom. Why? It's because otherwise you have no access to the inside of the house. And many times I will use, like especially my Christmas villages, I'll use vellum sometimes. And what that does is it means you can light up the house. So if you use an electric tea light, you can place this, you know, on a mantelpiece, but then you can tuck in underneath of it an electric tea light, which is crazy awesome. It's so pretty at night, okay? So these have score lines. Our entire house is built around this base. So as long as your base is cut nicely and correctly, you should be good, okay? So we're gonna start with our sides. So we're gonna hot glue down this side after we fold it all into place. And you'll notice there's no tab at the bottom of this, okay? There's almost always a single tab and then no tab where you need to attach it. So it's like a really fun jigsaw puzzle. Okay, so I've got this side on. We're going to do that to the opposite side. The other thing you can do is you can lay this flat, okay, right here like this. I sometimes forget I can do this because I'm thinking in 3D. So just lay it like that and then press it down. I do prefer hot glue for the actual assembly of the house. It just comes together a lot quicker. Okay, so we've got these two pieces and here we go. Okay, so you just need to choose which side's the front. They're exactly the same, so you don't have to worry about that. What I'm going to do is, okay, let me show you guys this. So make sure when you press this piece, see it has like this one cutout piece in the front, like that. Just make sure that that is the piece going down like this, because we're going to place a little gable piece basically right there, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to put hot glue on this piece and then match that down. I'll cut out all the pieces and I'll be like, how does this all work together? It's crazy that it ends up working together the way it does. Okay, last piece. It's like you're creating a really beautiful box when you think about it. It's just tabs and 4 sides. Okay, you should have a piece that looks like this, okay? Now we're going to complete the 3D part by simply lifting, right, on either side and adding that hot glue to tab it up. So we're gonna start with this edge. I'm gonna put hot glue on this side. Okay, now this is your discretion at this point. You can put this side up if you want, or you can put this side up. It really doesn't matter. Either way, you're going to kind of have to stick your fingers in there to get to the hot glue. I'm gonna go ahead and do this side. And then this is the final side to go up. It's going to take a little bit of maneuvering. Same deal over here. You're kind of trying to just get into the crevices. Okay, look at that. Great base. Now you'll see we have these great roof pieces, right? So you're just going to glue up the sides and hold in the best you can. Now the hard part, of course, is when this one comes down, you can't put your hand underneath of it. So actually, I'm more worried about the front, so I'm going to do the front first. I want to make sure the front is really nicely stable. So hot gluing that in, laying it in. Can you guys see what I'm doing? I know it's like a little bit like, where is she putting that glue? Okay. I'm always more worried about the front because the front is generally what people see, right? Like I'm usually putting the thing on the mantle front ways. Okay, so with the back one, it's like you have only so much control. So get that glue on there. Lay it down. You can see I'm just kind of making sure that the glue sticks there. And then same on this other side. Okay, you should have a hole in the top, okay? Don't glue that together, you don't need to worry about that. And you should have a hole here in the front, okay? But you've basically built your building that you're going to stick all the cute stuff on, okay? So let's talk about, should we start with the roof? Let's talk about the roof, okay? The roof itself is actually very, very simple. So if I fold this in half right here, and I laid it right here, you can see how the roof is super simple. But what I have right here for you is a whole bunch of scallops, okay? So it's actually easier to build this flat than it is to build it while it's sitting on the roof. So I'm gonna show you how to build it flat. I've gone ahead and I've laid everything out for you, and we're just gonna glue it together. Now, one of the things about this is there's some guessing and there's some preciseness. So one of the things I've done for you is I've given you a piece like this. It has a score line right in the center. So you can see I've scored it. What this does, if you can see on this original piece, one of the things that it does is it hides your mistakes. And I did this on purpose because getting this exactly precise is not going to happen. It's just hard. It's perfect on the computer. It lays out beautifully on the computer. But when you get it in real life, you need something that will hide all of your creases, okay? So you've got a piece like this at the top. You're going to start with your lighter green piece at the very top. When you go lay this out, lay it out in front of you first. And then it's a dark green piece, then a lighter green piece. And then if you are working on the front first, so I'm going to lay the front towards me so it matches up here. You have these funky little pieces. You have one piece that has a tiny little chip in it, and you've got these pieces down here at the bottom. Now, one of the issues, if you can see on this, is of course your scallop pieces are on top of the other pieces. So you have to work from the bottom up, if that makes sense. So we're going to work from the bottom up, which makes it difficult because then you're guessing is the bottom line, okay? Except for these first two pieces. This is what I like about the first two pieces. So these will match up perfectly to your bottom piece, okay? On the other side, it doesn't. Your scallop kind of falls off the end of the roof. So I'm actually going to use a glue stick for this, and the reason is because then I can kind of massage things and move it around. If I put hot glue on it, I can't move it around. And these aren't holding me structurally the way the hot glue was, so you don't have to worry about it as much. So here's your stick glue. Lay that in place. All right, so light green on. So next is dark green, and you'll notice that these are kind of funny cut too. What you're going to be using are these, do you see these straight edges, to guide you onto where to place this. So you'll notice that they should come to a point right here. I know I'm kind of being precise about these first two pieces because the rest of the pieces will go much smoother if you can get these in the right place. Anyone who knows me in real life knows I'm not very precise, actually. I just will throw things on and call it good. Oh, and actually, it won't come to a point. Do you see where I'm looking here? I want it to hit the edge here, so I laid this down where I knew that this matched up and the side matched up here, okay? So there is like a little bit of a point still left here, which actually makes sense because this piece right here has a point on it. So I'm scooching it down to where this edge and this edge match up. Okay, so your next piece that you can be precise with is this green piece that has a little notch in it, okay? It's got this funny little notch here. And we're gonna lay that right at the top here. Okay, those are your three very precise pieces. The rest of it should go really smoothly. So you're just going to guesstimate at this point. You're trying to get these to kind of match up to the top, okay? And so what I'm going to do is go ahead, throw this stick glue on it, and I'm going to guess. For the most part, you're kind of touching it to where the points are, right there. You see how that goes? So you're getting it to where those points are, and you should be just fine. But this is, once again, why I've got that piece at the top. If it's not precise, you're going to be okay because we can hide it. So you can see I'm a little shy. I'm not all the way to the top, and that's okay. All right. First side done, you guys. That makes it so much cuter though. Like I love a scallop so much. If I just put this on without the scallop, okay, look, you guys, difference. This or this. Yeah, that. Okay, so let's finish the other side. And once again, we gotta work from our bottom piece. And so what I recommend, you have no way of knowing how far apart to spread these, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna lay them on there. I recommend laying your scallop piece right here. You're going to lay it just a little bit past where your line is. And then I kind of just end up like laying these down, kind of seeing where I end up and being like, okay, it's gonna be fine if I'm just careful with it. So let's start with glue the bottom edge here, not your scallop. Why? Because if you put glue on the scallops that are overhanging, you'll get, you'll stick it to your table. So just glue it so that you can't see the roof underneath. And then just make this as even as you can after that. This we could have glued straight from this. In fact, I probably should have. Okay. And the pattern here is light green, dark green. You should have 3 light greens and 2 dark greens. And that's the same for the front as well. Two more left, guys. And hopefully you are going to make this. It's such a great like nondescript house. So I specifically made it springtime so it could be done. You could put it up at Easter, Mother's Day, Valentine's Day. You could change, if you wanted to do all the flowers in red and white, you could make it Valentine's Day and that would be really cute. Okay, done. Look how cute that is. Okay, so we have this top piece and I'm actually going to use hot glue, not stick glue for that, to save time. If you're at home doing this, just use stick glue. It should be just fine. But I'm gonna do hot glue today to make it go fast. I'm just gonna do one side really quick. Just like that. And then open up this other side. I mean, if you want to use hot glue, it does make it really easy, okay? So you're gonna stick this right here in the center. You've got this gable at the front that's helping guide you to make sure that you're laying it on correctly. And now it's just a whole lot of hot glue. So you're just gonna throw lots of hot glue on the front here. You can see I'm just kind of curving it all over. And I'm going to lay it right in there. Make sure your roof hits the top of that roof when you lay it down. It should just catch it and should be fine. And then you can just lift up the back of this and add a bunch of hot glue to the back. Lay it down. Not bad, right? Okay, so now we've got this funny little gable piece. You should have like a diamond piece that looks like this. And you should have a scallop piece that looks like this, okay? So what I like to do is I do like to score and fold right there in the center on both of these pieces, okay? So it's like this. And then I will stick glue this. You'll notice that it fits perfectly on there. I'm gonna glue that right in place. And maybe try not to get hot glue on everything. Okay. Throwing some stick glue on there. I like the stick glue for things like these scallops because you don't want all the bumps that happen with the hot glue. Okay, so you can see that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to push your score line down on that diamond shape, just like that, okay? And what will happen, okay, now if you're doing this at home, let this dry. I'm not letting this dry. So it's a little bit of a problem, but you're gonna let this dry and it's gonna be perfect, okay? So you can see that it fits right here beautifully. I'm gonna try to do this towards you guys so you guys can see it, which might turn out wonky because I can't see totally what I'm doing, but I think you will like seeing it. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on one side first, only one side, because otherwise they'll stick too fast. I'm gonna push it down and just kind of feel for it and then hold this in place. Let's see. Did it go where I wanted it to go? No, not quite. And my glue dried too fast. I am gonna do it towards me, I guess. And it takes a second to make sure that it's dried, okay? All right, one side on, okay? You see I only have one side on now. Now I'm gonna turn it this way. I'm gonna glue this other tab side. There's nothing holding this little gable to the actual house but the roof, if that makes sense. I'm gonna hold it for a second. And we're done, okay? I think that those types of details in your silhouette projects make them special. I just think they make them look so good, okay? Okay, you guys, this is the really fun part. So I have all these wonderful door, I've got windows, I've got flowers, and let's go ahead and start with the bigger things. I'm gonna show you how to put together the bigger things. And then while I'm putting together the little flowers, I think we'll have time to take some questions. So if you have questions while I'm building this, I can just talk to you about it. And that will be awesome. Okay, so let's start with your bottom pieces. Okay, so you can see that there are these little scallop pieces that match your roof that are meant to go at the bottom. They kind of pose as bushes, okay? Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, if I were not doing this on camera, I would use stick glue for every single last bit of what I'm about to do because it lays beautiful and flat. But because I'm doing it for you guys, I'm doing it kind of fast and I wanna make sure everything sticks, so I am gonna use hot glue. But this is like a do not try this at home moment. Use your stick glue, okay? So I'm gonna throw just a little thin piece of hot glue here at the bottom. I just think the stick glue looks nicer too. It holds up better. The hot glue kind of falls apart all the time. I used hot glue on all my gumdrops on my gingerbread house, and I'm so grumpy about it because they fall off. And I like having my gingerbread house around. Like all my big projects, I want them to stay together. So you have 4 of these pieces, 2 short, 2 long. And you can see I'm just doing the front, the back, and then the sides. Super easy, right? Okay. I don't know why that makes me so happy, but having the scallops at the bottom acting as bushes really does, okay? Then you have, once again, use stick glue. You have a door. Now, you can just guess on this door. This is not, you can see that it's supposed to be, evened up with the top of your gable, okay? So just try to make it as even as you can. Just like that. Okay, and then I have this darling, I only have one of these that you need to cut out, but it is a window. This one, okay, so this one's tiny. I don't even think I can use hot glue on it. Hello, stick glue. We're going to throw some stick glue and get my hands all sticky from that. And just put that up here in the center. Okay. And that should hold pretty good. Okay, so the other thing is these windows. Now I have you cut, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. I'm trying to think. I think it's just one on either side, okay? I think it's 2 in the back and 2 in the front. So, okay, 6 is correct. I had to do the math on that. Okay, so you are going to add, I'm just going to add one of these windows for right now. I'm going to add them all in just a moment while we're doing our questions. But there we go with those. So I'm going to lay those out. And then let's talk about, well, let's talk about the flowers really quick, okay? So I have given you all these flowers. There's a lot of different flowers. The first set of flowers, there's only 2 of, okay? So there's 2 of these, and they have these tiny little score lines in them that are fabulous, okay? I stole these from myself. I designed them for something else, and I just really like them because they have a score line embedded in them, and so it just makes for a really pretty flower. So I'm going to go ahead and score both of those. See how I'm like even just pressing them on the edge, and the score line just, it takes to it so beautifully, okay? So these 2 flowers go on either side. Let's just make sure. Yes, I put it on either side of this. So it's your choice. You can use them however you want, but that's where I put them. Then you have all these darling tiny little flowers, and you'll notice on my actual house that it, you know, you can do doubled up, which is what I've done, or you can do singles, okay? And so if you're following mine exactly, then you can just follow this exact pattern that I'm using. But if you're not, you can just sprinkle flowers everywhere, okay? So what I do for these is I just like to press them up like this. The other thing you can do is finger press them. I'm going to show you this other way. You can finger press them like this, okay? So you're like squishing the petal itself in. Both ways are acceptable, and both will turn out cute. So it's just your choice. I just think whatever you do, finger press them. If they remain flat on here, it looks flat. It doesn't look quite as good. You'll notice that these on the actual spring house are kind of, they're sticking out, and it's because you're getting them all finger pressed cute, okay? And so if you're gonna layer some of them, you can, and all you're gonna do is hot glue the center of your big one if you're gonna layer it, and take a smaller one and glue it together. And I'm not even gonna follow my pattern that I'm using on this today. You can see how I've done that. I'm actually just gonna glue them all together, finger press them together, and just like spread them out around the house, which I think is really fun. I've given you a couple of different leaves. Most of the leaves are these little 2-piece leaves, and you're just gonna finger press those up as well, okay? And you can attach them, you know, so I've got this one here. You can go ahead and attach them so that you make sure that each flower gets 1 or 2 leaves, just like that. The other thing I have, Michael's have these really amazingly awesome pearls. So these pearls already have stickiness on the back, which is what I like about them. I have like these diamond gems that are a pain because they don't have any glue on them, so you have to actually add glue. But these pearls already have glue. And let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay. And you really do need to use like an X-Acto knife or something to put them on because they're just so nice and tiny. But they already have the stickiness to them, so you just place that in the center there. Isn't that so cute? So I'm going to build out these, and let's take a few questions right now, and then I'm going to show you how to do the chimney and the butterfly. McKenna, you want to talk to me?
Okay, so Kelly asked, where do you store all your completed 3D houses so you can display them for multiple years?
So Kelly, I have a shed dedicated to that. So we just moved into a new house in last June. And I specifically bought this house because where I was going to place my office, right off the mudroom, I have a shed. And right now it is holding a lot of big 3D projects because I don't just do the ones this size, I have like really monster ones. But before I was in this house, what I really liked to use was bins. So I would buy those, you can get them at Target or Walmart. And actually, Michael's has them too. You should go to Michael's and get them. Just those big Tupperware bins. And I usually try to put them in with, you can do bubble wrap, or you can do tissue paper, and I'll just tissue paper all of my projects and put them in there as softly as you can, because you don't want them to squish, right? So that's my general thing. If there's something I really want to last a long time, I will do crazy things, like once it's cut out, I'll like laminate it, or whatever, and then hot glue it together, and then that way I can rip it apart if I want, and put it back together again. Okay, McKenna?
Yeah, so then the other question we have on here is, what do you think of using Elmer's white school glue? Do you ever use like liquid glue?
Oh, liquid glue. I'm using Elmer's washable glue right here that I got from Michael's. I don't ever use that, not because it's not great, it probably is, but for most of the projects that I'm doing, for the most part, stick glue or hot glue works the best. The other thing that I have used in the past that I do quite like is like the clear glue, that it's not Elmer's glue, but it's like the clear glue you can get at Michael's in the crafting section. And I don't even know what brand that is. I'll just pick it up once in a while. It's like, it dries really quickly. And I think that's the key. The problem with the white glue is it feels like it doesn't dry very quick.
Okay, we don't have any other questions right now,
Oh,
but if
that's okay.
anybody else has any ones, you can drop it in the comments and we will go over them.
I don't know if you guys heard McKenna, but if you didn't, if you have a question, drop it in the comments right now, and I would love to answer it for you. Did anyone answer my silhouette question? What kind of silhouettes do they have?
Yes, we have all over the board. So I think we have like every single machine listed. The Portrait 2, the Portrait 3, all the Cameos. So yeah, we have all of them. Which one's your favorite?
My favorite is, well, my favorite versus most used. My most used machine is the Plus. I don't know why, but when I start doing a project, I just like pull down the Plus. I think it's because it's manageable, but if I have and I use it mostly for actually Cameo size things. But for whatever reason, that's the one I gravitate to. I think it's because it fits so nicely on my desk, and it does the 14-inch. So that's my most used. But the Pro has my heart. Like I have made the coolest things with the Pro, and it has been kind of like a total joy to be able to take small projects that I've made and redo them again in these monster projects. So it's been really fun. I am supposed to go on a trip this summer, and actually the thing I've been thinking is, could I take the Portrait with me? And would it be fun to try to cut somewhere else? I'm wondering if anybody has done that. Do you take your Portrait with you, and do you actually cut if you like are going somewhere? I don't think I would take the Cameo. I think the Portrait is like such a more manageable size. So those are some of my thoughts on the machines. But I really do. I probably use every single machine at least once a week. So granted, this is what I do, and I'm always making projects, but I think the more you use the machines, the more comfortable you get with them, and especially when mistakes happen, like the machine pulls something through the way that you're not wanting at that moment to do, I think it will throw you off, but like if you've been doing it over and over again, you just feel more and more confident about it and comfortable, and you know how to correct the mistake because it's always human error. Like that's the thing that's about it. Like it's always like, that's why I showed you guys that little that thing at the beginning to move that one piece. I can't tell you how many times I'm on my Silhouette Plus and I've got it set up for a plus, and I try to put my mat through and it gets shaky, and I'm like, oh, I didn't move that thing over. So I think the more you use the machine, just the more comfortable you get and the better your projects get. But one thing I will say, even brand new users, you will be able to make amazing things really quick, right off the get-go. So easy, okay? All right, so McKenna, do you have any more questions?
Nope. Kelly just said that she takes her Portrait lots of places, anywhere with electricity. So
nice. Okay. And Kelly, if you have a second, will you tell me like where have you taken it and what do you make on it? Because that's pretty amazing. Okay, I have a lot of these flowers done. So I'm going to start hot gluing them to the bottom here, okay, and adding leaves in a second. But let's talk about the chimney. Okay, so you have a piece that looks like this for the chimney. It's a little bit crazy, and actually it's upside down right now. So if you turn it this way, okay, you'll be able to press this just like this and then glue it, and you can see like it moves around really nicely. The rest of these tab pieces you want to press in. So we're going to first glue that piece, and you get that, see that lovely little square area right there. So then we're going to press all of these tabs in. Now this is, you have nothing to kind of like push up the paper to, okay? So what you're going to do is just get as much glue as you can, and I'm running out of glue here. Get as much as you can, and I'm actually going to stick mine from the back, and you're just going to glue it right there, okay? And if you hold it for a second, it should adhere really nicely for you, okay? It's on. Look at that, okay? And then your other big piece that's just a little bit different is I have these two very large flowers for you. Okay, these flowers you're going to press inward. You can see I've got the score lines on these again. Okay, really cute. Right here. Just like that, okay? Now, when I lay down these flowers, and I didn't specifically say that for these other ones, make sure that your petals aren't lining up. That way you can see all the petals. So I'm just gonna put a dab of glue, new glue stick, in the center here. And you can see how I have made it so that your petals should show up from the bottom as well, okay? Now, this is great because you can push it in. You'll notice here on this one, I've really accentuated all of my pressing. You can see how I'm like pressing it even harder here. That way it sticks up quite a bit. So if you really want it to stick up, which I think you kind of do because it just makes it cuter. And then I'm going to glue it right here to my roof. Just like that. Now, you could cut out more of these. If you want a butterfly house, not a floral house, I will commend that. Okay, go for it. Okay, so I have this darling little butterfly, and you see I just kind of pressed it up so that the wings are up right there. And you're just gonna lay it down in the center. If you want it a little crookedy, like I'm gonna do, you can do that. And have it in the center there. Isn't that sweet? And I do have two big leaves. This is the last thing for this. And I'm just gonna press those up like that, okay? And you can lay these however you want. I'm gonna have them kind of falling off the house. On this one, I have them up at the top, so it's just wherever you wanna put them.
Karina, somebody's wondering if the butterflies can be made smaller.
They can. You need to make sure you have a sticky mat. You need to go at a slower speed, and you need to make sure you have your blade at a 10, okay? So, because there are all these individual things. Oh, let me also tell you an awesome other trick. Okay, if you just want the butterfly outline, say you want to make tiny butterflies out of this and you don't want all of these cuts, because the intricate cuts is what it's going to make it a little more difficult to cut. All you have to do is you select it all, and then I think you do a, I'm thinking about it off the top of my head, not on my computer. You do a compound path, release compound path. And so when you do that, you can just get this outside shape. I think there's even a chance you can just do an ungroup. There is a chance that works as well. So you can take that shape and then just cut out the shape without all the insides. So you can make it really, really tiny and cut it really beautifully on your machine. So I love the Silhouette software. Don't get me started on how awesome the software is, because I will talk to you about it all day long. It really does amazing things. It does things that professional design software does, like Illustrator, but it does it in a much simpler way. So I love it. I think it's so great. Okay, Last but not least is adding all the flowers. And I'm only going to do a couple of these. I don't think you guys need to see me do them all because you have seen the final piece. But you can see I'm just using hot glue, and I will say using hot glue for this is the way to go for the flowers. Anything that's 3D, my rule of thumb is if it's flat, use stick glue. If it's 3D, use hot glue. So we do have these two pieces that I have designated for the front of the house just because they're different. And I don't know why I'm sure it's out of laziness, cut them the same color. I probably should have cut them a different color, but I never do. So, okay, so these we're gonna hot glue to the very front. I'm just gonna do them up here. Just like that. I do have a couple of leaves that are not these little two pointed leaves. I have just single pointed, kind of like these up here, but they are singles. Okay, and you can glue those into these. And you can see I just finger press those leaves as I go. Okay, if you want these symmetrical, do not do them the way I'm doing them, where I'm facing you guys. Okay. I think you can see right away what a big difference it makes once you start adding these flowers. It goes from like kind of being a wonderful house to a really excellent house. And I think that is the power of detail. In most of my projects, the base is actually very simple. You saw how quick it was for us to put together the actual box that built the house, right? It didn't take us that long. But what really makes these things wonderful is all the details, so like all these extra little bits. And they take time, you know? I feel like I've spent most of my time building these little flowers for you guys today here. We'll put this one on this side and add a couple of leaves and maybe one more flower. And I think we'll kind of be done. Okay, I'm gonna do a single on the front to see how that looks. Let's see, what do I have? I need another light piece. I'm also gonna say if you don't want it to be symmetrical, I think that's fine. I actually don't prefer symmetrical things. I did do it quite a bit on this house, but you'll notice like on these sides, I really tried to make them asymmetrical. I think it looks a little more organic. And one more leaf. Okay, let's move some of this stuff out of the way so you guys can see it. And then we'll kind of compare it to the original house here. But you can see how cute this is. I mean, I just did this with you, and just some small placement changes really can change the whole thing. But I did do this pretty close. This has like a darker green. I'm using a lighter green here. So just change it up. Use the papers that you really like. I'd love to see this in craft paper. I've seen it in craft paper and I've seen it in pink, which is darling. And I would love to see someone make this a butterfly house, which would be amazing. Okay, I think that's all I've got for you guys, unless you have more questions for me. If you are looking for any of I do a ton of reels, I do a lot of projects every single week, and I do silhouette tips and tutorials. Those are all on my Instagram feed at Karina Gardner Paper Crafts. You can also find all of my files at Silhouette, the design store. I do all of my stuff is there in the Karina Gardner and the Mini Lou shops. Those are my two shops there. And you can also find any of my tutorials and all that other good stuff at karinagardner.com. That's where you can find it all. I think that's it, you guys. Thanks for joining me. I had such a good time with you.